Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is me, Cindy. You probably know who I am. So I'm making this video today because I think what I would like to do is cohesively wrap up everything that's been going on this week, because I have two different channels. So there's been, was there one or two? There was one video that came out on that other channel this week, and I talked about some issues over there as well that had to do really with everything that I almost want to call it like a theme for the week. And the theme for the week to me is the Dark Lady. And the Dark Lady really represents trying to find balance within and also outwardly, but you can only do that when you look at things that haven't been looked at in a very long time, or things that we're putting to the side, or we're putting off, or we're postponing, or we're just not focusing on. But a lot of this stuff is often things that make us uncomfortable, and that's why we're not looking at them. So yes, this is what this video is about, because in some level, like, there's been some misinterpretation, and it's not so much, I don't really so much feel the need to defend myself as I feel more the need to defend the message, because the message is the most important aspect of this entire week. And it really is about change and changing our perception, absorbing information, facts, feelings, intuition, looking deep within, acknowledging as well what goes on deep within other people. So I'm trying to keep, because there has been so much going on. So what I'll do is, because I sit down often with cards and I'll ask questions of my guides, like, what is truly the purpose of what we're doing? And I did have sort of like a one-on-one with God 2 nights ago. Like, are you sure? Am I okay in this? Like this, because this is a really tough subject and I'm pretty much dealing with it on my own. I've had a lot of bad emails this week. Let's just say I've had, emails from very, I guess, I don't know, what would you call them? Like really intense Christian groups, and then people that I don't really know who they are, if they're men or women or what they are, but combination of like really sewage language, death threat stuff that's been coming in. So I've been dealing with that, like kind of behind the scenes as well, and trying to block and delete. And there have been some people that have been blocked on the channel, and some of those, I had a moderator asking me about that. And I said, well, some of them have been blocked because those are the people that I've realized are sending me some of the emails that are threatening my life. So some of those has been blocked, and others have been blocked, just for other comments that became very personal. But it is also my right to protect myself. So I am working on protecting myself energetically through this week that we're dealing with the Dark Lady, as well as emotionally and mentally. So as I was saying to someone in an email, that might seem like I'm very privileged to be doing this. I would call it an enormous, awesome opportunity, but privilege is something that I would say is very distant from the description that I would call this. Maybe if I just focused on simple love readings on here, it would be really easy just to go about my day. But I don't do this because of that. I do this because I feel like we need to invoke thought, challenge, and change in our world to create a new world, a better world for everybody. And there are times when certain groups, certain aspects, certain messages are focused on more than others at any given time. And this week was a lot to do with the feminine and what the feminine has been going through for quite a period of time. And it's interesting too, because I have had like a lot of people thinking that I hate men. I don't. I really like men. Men are great. Especially like men that are like really balanced, and they make change and challenge within themselves. So yeah, that's not, it's really funny as well. But to be honest, most of the time I think I probably get along better with men than women. But that's just my own personality trait. It doesn't say anything against women really. But But yeah, so there's that. But so what I want to state is one of the messages that I put out. So on my my community post, that a few, and so a lot of what I'm talking about is actually, it's not the majority, but it definitely is the minority. But the backlash and the development from that section of people, because there are people, is intense. So I think, and it is, again, to clarify the meaning of the message, the intent of the message. So there was a very long post. Let's lead up to this first. There was another very long post about why are we trying to make change? Why am I hoping to be able to make change and have people look at things that we really haven't been looking at, or at least look at it from a different angle? I really am open to people talking about factual information back and forth with me and developing that. But some people have not really been doing that. A lot of people have just been making things very personal, and this is my belief on it, and you're completely wrong. There's something wrong with you. You need to look within. And they're like, well, you haven't really given me any facts. So it's kind of hard to take that seriously. But so I did have a very lengthy email about facts, figures, data, evidence that there is a disparity between men and women, masculine and feminine energy, positions of power throughout the world. And all week this week, I'm auctioning off my my old decks for charity, and that charity is for Plan International through Canada. And I donate to that charity every month. It comes automatically out of my bank account, and it goes to a cause specifically that they have called Because I Am a Girl. And it goes to places that are much more impoverished, where young girls are often forced into marriage before they're women, before sometimes they're even in their teens. They're not granted an education. So that's where the money's going. And as I said earlier too, about why is my charity that, because I have a video in here too about the charity. It's because I can't be there. I can't physically be there to give my time and my help, so I can give some money. And I give my own money all the time for that. And what I'm growing out of this auction is going to that. And I'm paying for, out of my own money, to ship all of the decks that are being auctioned to wherever they end up going, so that money that people are giving to the charity goes to it, not to the shipping. So I want to put that out there, because I also do spend an awful lot of time volunteering. So where I'm going with this is the post about phoning a golf club and pretty much being refused a tea time because it was specifically for men. And now I did inquire this course. They don't have something for a women's league. There's no women's league there. So this, and I've been finding a lot of stuff has been coming up. There's been so many things that I've been seeing all week that I haven't put out, but it is in the theme of the Dark Lady, and it is continuing with this theme of disparity. So yes, the reason for that post was, it doesn't really matter like how privileged you may think you are, or if you think it's happening in another country, it doesn't affect me. The purpose of the post was, it affects women everywhere, and you don't know when it's going to happen. It's kind of like, I'm going to go, no, sorry, that's just for men only. So I know just saying this is going to trigger some people, because again, they're going to come in and say, what's your problem with men? It's not, my problem is not with men. My problem is the system that we've created. And then I do actually sometimes have a problem with some of the men, because they get really defensive and they attack me personally about feeling a little bit oppressed on things and seeing other women go through stuff. And some people did legit say, you know, these aren't the real problems that women are facing. And no, it's very minor. But I did talk about on my other channel that as young as 4 years old, I had men exposing themselves to me. I've gone through all sorts of shit. I get dick pics emailed to me all the time. through my email in this channel. Like, there are so many things that go on. It's not. So I am not saying it isn't. It's almost as if saying, if you're giving a charity money or donating your time to a cause for animals, well, what about the children? Why aren't you doing anything for the children? There's different levels and there's different points of focus at any given time. So that was the whole point of it, is that it's easy to say this isn't in our backyard, and it's easy to do that with racism. It's easy to do that with anything that has to do with marginalized groups. It's really just happening over there. It is, and it's happening on a much larger level. And I'm obviously aware of that if I'm doing what I can through charity work with groups that try to rectify it. So that was the point of that message, was that, yeah, there's so many glass ceilings that are going to be faced by people. And it was interesting because I was talking back and forth with my female friends, my girlfriends that we wanted to go and golf with. And like one of them said, well, gosh, maybe we should just phone them and say that we're going to identify as men and see what they say. So we didn't push it, but you know what? It's almost worth doing. It really is almost worth doing as well for the transgender community. Like, so it's just really archaic. So yeah, and then some people accuse me of being like overly privileged and overly rich that I can go golfing. Well, it was $35. So it was $35 for, I'm not a member of any club. It was $35 just to go and do 9 holes with some friends of mine who are all mothers. And it's been 4 or 5 years since I've golfed. It's something I like to do outside when I can, and I've never been a member of a golf club. Not that that should really matter in terms of what really comes from someone's heart and their soul. This was an opportunity for me with my girlfriends to try to do something together. And some of them haven't been out for like 10 years golfing because they've been raising their kids. So it's not like coming from, I'm really rich, I drive like a fancy BMW, I'm at the club, and no, $35 each. And we were going to go and we were going to laugh at each other, getting the ball in the woods and sort of thing. So that's really what that was. But it was really intended to point out that it's not far away. It's in our backyard, as is all of the issues that we're dealing with on social levels. So now this takes me to like when I pull cards out for myself and ask questions of the universe, ask questions of God and my guides. So what is my role in this? Why am I here? Because I'm getting kind of dragged through the coals in this. Part of my role is also to look at like things within me that maybe I haven't looked at for a while. Like some of the stuff that I talked about on my other channel, the spiritual chrysalis in that latest video. Absolutely. Like, yeah, looking at it and owning the feelings and the anger that you have around it and processing that. But it was also this week was intended to probably make people angry. But that's an emotion and that's a feeling. And it's, how do we utilize that? Do we like immediately attack the messenger because we don't like the message? Or do we just sit back and say, well, that's not for me, and move along? Or do we try to have like an intellectual debate about it? So that was like a big part of this week. And it's, well, I don't want to say it's going to continue. What's going to continue is the specific zodiacs going through the Dark Lady, looking at those messages. And the Aries one was really amazing. Like for anyone who has Lilith and Aries, I thought it was a really fascinating message. So that's what is going to continue. When I have the time to do those, I'm going to be doing them and popping them out. So I need a drink of water. I asked, using my Archangel deck and the Murder of Crows, like, what is my purpose here? So I got from Archangel Zachiel, teaching and learning. Keep an open mind and learn new ideas. Then teach these ideas to others. Okay, that sounds like fun. So, and with those, I got the 8 of Pentacles. So this is like your passion, what you're doing, what you're working on, what I'm doing here. The 8 of Pentacles. And it's interesting because he has a quill. So he's like writing, conversing, communicating. And then the card that came out is really fascinating. It's been a while since I've looked at it, so I couldn't remember what this represented. It is the Crow Father. I'm going to read the Crow Father to you. The Crow Father. Turning this card to show the Crow Father means that you are giving attention to the outward and practical aspects of a situation. Not how you are feeling and what you truly want or need, but rather how to reach a result, how to overcome an obstacle, and how to solve a challenge. The card suggests action, choice, direction, and assertion. It is not focused on inner world, but rather on the result and on the practical steps that can be taken to achieve it. That's been a big part of this week, is your spiritual journey is not just an inner world. And one of the messages that I got, again today, sort of conversing with the universe, like, because I'm going to tell you, I had a really difficult night sleeping last night. It was a bad email day. There was like tons of death threats and like horrible shit that was just coming through, like people's toxicity coming at me. And really saying like, I have my own darkness to look at. I feel like if like God, universe, you've kind of like just plunged me into the depths of the darkest, tarriest points of humanity. And what I heard was, well, those parts are there. Who is this spiritual journey for? It's wonderful to work on yourself, but once you've got yourself to a point, it's time to save, or I don't want to say save because there's so much that's put into that. It's time to help utilize your energy to uplift other people, to uplift people that are not being uplifted. But you cannot forget that what I've been through, like this is what I'm being told. You cannot forget that what you've been through this week, the feelings and the emotions that have been evoked within you, the toxicity that's come towards you, that might not be in your world every day, but there are many millions of people who are living that way every day. It can't be forgotten, but you won't be kept in. So I was told I wouldn't be kept in. I was like, okay, that's good, because I'm about at my end with it myself. So yeah, and then a really beautiful thing happened because I thought, wow, I really need help like shifting my own vibrational energy here, because it was just a barrage of negativity coming at me through comment section. That actually wasn't as heavy, and it's the stuff that happens behind the scenes, right? Like some of the emails, and even trying to track them, and the accounts were shut down. I'm like that freaks you out too. Like, how do they do that? The account is just completely shut down. It's like they utilized it just to attack. So yeah, it's real shit. And it would be so much easier for me to just sit behind this camera and tell you how somebody feels about you. And you know, I would get so many more views. I would have such an easier time. But I'm not trying to take the easier road here, guys. I'm really not. So yeah, so to get to my beautiful moment, like that, you know, Spirit still has my back. Yes, we plunged you into the depths of disparity so that you can really feel it and remember what the cause is about. But I needed something to raise my vibrational energy. There's only so much that you can do at some point, particularly going to something as dark as what these few days have been. I was walking Lily, as often when I'm on my own and my son isn't with me. And that's another thing. I have an 11-year-old child that I've sacrificed so much for. A boy that I love so much. I don't hate men. So funny. But anyway, so walking Lily, having my conversation with the universe. And yeah, I really need something. You know, we were just about to go home, turned a corner, and Lily stopped and she sat down in the middle of the road. That's my little dog. And she's waiting. I'm like, what are you waiting for? Sometimes she just sits and she wants to watch the world go by. She's so cute. So I don't want to go home yet. I want to sit here. So we're sitting here. And then up the road, and then the other road, coming across, there was a mother with a little dog and two little girls. And so Lily's watching them, of course, watching them go. And the one little girl, I ended up talking with them. One was 8 and one was 4. And she, in her cute little girl voice, she said, your doggy is so cute. It's the cutest little doggy ever. And I thought my little dog was cute. And then the other girl's starts talking to, and then I start talking with the mom, and we agree, oh, can the dogs meet? So I ended up sitting, these two little girls sitting on the curb. Lily had a great time because she loves little girls. They're just kind of, their voices are high and they're, you know, they're gentle. And she hasn't really had an opportunity to see little girls in a while. So I had the most wonderful talk with them. It was so honest and it was so pure. And I just sat there and I thought, this is beautiful, divine feminine. This is like why. This is the cause. But yet it totally, their energy totally transformed me. And it just reminded me too, adults are so difficult to deal with. Children are so easy sometimes compared to adults. They were just so pure. The purity of them just washed over me, and it changed my day. Like it literally, well, thank you, God, because that's what I needed. Like with everything that I've been through this week, trying to invoke thought, trying to help people look into darkness, trying to, you know, and being aware that some of it's going to come at me. Just not prepared for how much and at what level. So that was really beautiful. So it really helped to purify me from all the darkness. But, so then what was this? What was this message? So I have some other cards here about another message. Oh, what is the long-term sort of plan? Like for what spirituality is? So we got these two cards, victory and relationship harmony. Isn't that beautiful? Like we're talking about the yin and the yang, the masculine, the feminine, men and women, non-binary, like everybody, just relationship harmony, victory in this. But we can't find it until we dig into the wound, we pull out the scab, and we find the pus that's been sitting there like a bed sore. That's what this kind of stuff feels like a bed sore. Some people will like grip the table and go, do it, just get it out. I'm ready for it. You know, and then other people will scream and you like get really at your face, but it needs to be pulled out. Because another thing that I saw when I asked about why do I need to see like all this darkness? Like really, why? And I was shown like a pyramid. But this pyramid, there was the large stones had like grout between them, or mortar, and it was all cracked. And it was all cracked because of what it was built on. It wasn't built on something more pure. So the message is that we can't keep building up on something that was built on impurity. We have to find the impurity. We have to pull out all that grout. It's a lot of work. It's tedious. Some days might be really hot and sweltering and you don't want to do it. And then we got to get it out and then put something in there that's more holistic. So yeah, it is like pulling out a wound, and it really hit people. And I want to say too, like when I guess when it's hitting people, it's doing its work. I need a saltwater bath and a martini after this week anyway. So then we had the Hierophant. It's like, I can't believe this guy came out. The Hierophant. But look at this. The Knight of Swords. And the Ten of Swords. We have to rebuild the structures that we've created. But we can't rebuild it until we look at it and see what's wrong so that we know how to build it better next time. That is really the point of this whole week, but I think a lot of it's been lost on a minority of people. Yeah, but I think like no man left behind, no woman left behind, no child left behind, no person left behind. It's to really to try to understand the message and why this process, why I've been doing it on my channel. It is to invoke. And I want to say too, like, nobody got upset at me when I was doing readings for the Oak Man. It's like everybody's okay if it's what they want to hear. Well, you know, it's just because it's not what you want to hear doesn't mean you can't hear it. I can have, like, really, if you think about it, like, I can still have an opinion about something, and you can have an opinion about something, and they don't have to be in alignment, but we can still have alignment in so many other aspects of life. If we don't try to approach relationship like that, we're not going to have healthy relationships with anybody, because everybody is living a completely separate life and having completely separate experiences. And nobody's feeling of being suppressed or prejudiced against is any less or more than others. Everybody has a right to be heard. And I have tried to, I don't know, like, I guess it's the thing, like people see something like that golf comment, but they completely forget about the long comment post before that about all the disparity that goes on throughout the world. And it's just trying to get people who are more privileged to like, no, this is not just far away. This is in our own backyard. And it's on everything. We have to fix what's going on here. We have to try. We have to at least acknowledge it. Acknowledge it and try to look at it. Let me see. I think I've covered everything because I want to do this again. So yeah. Yeah, I kind of decided to, like, don't send me any more dick pics. Because I think what I'm going to do with them, sorry, what I'm going to do with dick pics is I'm going to make funny faces on them. And I'm going to put, like, bonnets and soothers. And I'm going to send them back to the people. Send them to me. I think that's what I'm going to do with them. I'm going to turn them into, like, really childish pieces of artwork. So, but that's the level that I'm often dealing with. And then there are some legit people and with legit questions. And I'll engage in conversation with you and let's share ideas. But yeah, it's been a really rough week. I can imagine that Lilith, the Dark Lady, doesn't show up on too many channels very often for very long. But yeah, it's still, that was the big part of everything, was to invoke your perception and to look deeply and to acknowledge emotion, right? It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be like upset or feel like you're mistreated. It's okay to voice that. And it's so important that people can listen to that and not feel, well, they're attacking me because they're not talking about me right now. We have to put our egos aside a little bit. And I've had some interesting conversations with people through email, a couple. Most of them have been pretty scary. I think that's it. That's really, there's nothing that I'm forgetting about because I really don't want to have to clarify the message more than anything here. Clarify the message more than anything. Yeah. I think that's it. Yeah. Sometimes it hurts ripping the Band-Aid off and looking at the wound, man. That's all I got, guys. Until next time, really be gentle with yourself and each other and me. Bye.